Hey guys, Level Cap here, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Gaming. DICE revealed a new game mode for Battlefield 5. Called Airborne, it pits two teams against each other in a fight to destroy or defend artillery. The assaulting team parachutes into the map, similar to how paratroopers would deploy during World War II. The defending team must repel the assault from the ground. There hasn't been much more information regarding vehicles, whether or not the defenders will get vehicles, whether or not there'll be airplane support, but it does sound pretty interesting. If you're interested in reading more about Airborne or other Battlefield 5 details, be sure to check out the links in the description below. DICE recently put out a blog post sort of reiterating a bunch of the info that they gave to the Game Changers. There's also a very thorough Reddit post covering pretty much everything we know about the game so far. PUBG Corp has acknowledged that they failed to deliver on many things and what they're doing to change that in a recent development update. The biggest area of focus is obviously performance. The latest patch is their first effort at seriously improving the game's performance and claims to get the servers running at a tick rate of 60 Hz. This is huge news as the servers were previously running at 30 Hz or lower depending on the match. The improved tick rate should make all players' interactions snappier and more accurate. That said, players still have been reporting all sorts of issues with server performance in specific regions, desync, getting shot around cover, and more. So clearly there's still a lot of work to be done. The patch includes a new optional anti-cheat system that players can opt out of when launching the game. It was apparently developed by PUBG Corp internally. Unfortunately, it seems to have negative impact on FPS, which many players reporting an average drop of 10 to 20 frames per second when enabled. The patch also includes more tweaks to grenades that essentially buffs all of them in different ways. The game's upcoming tropical island map, Sanhok, is currently available on the experimental server for a fourth round of testing. Improvements to performance, environmental design, buildings, round balance, and more have been made. As per usual, players are reporting issues like desync, errors in positional audio, textures not loading, and more. All things considered, the map seems to be in a much better place than it was during the previous testing phase. It should be added to the retail version of the game at the end of the month. PUBG's player base has slowly been shrinking since January. Back then, it averaged about 1.5 million concurrent players. Now it's averaging around 879,000 concurrent players. And while this is a decrease of 43%, nearly 1 million concurrent players is still nothing to laugh at. Competition from FORTNITE and other mainstream multiplayer titles was bound to make a big dent in PUBG's player count. PUBG Corp officially filed lawsuit against Fortnite's developer Epic Games. This lawsuit was hinted at last year when Epic allegedly used references to PUBG in their marketing for Fortnite's then upcoming free-to-play Battle Royale mode. It may also include things like similar game mechanics and UI design as points of conflict. The exact specifics of the suit haven't been made public. When it comes to Fortnite news, the game is apparently coming to the Nintendo Switch. The Korean Ratings Board has officially rated the game for Nintendo's portable console, confirming prior leaks and speculation that a port was in the works. The game's latest patch added the first vehicle to the game. Players can now push each other around in shopping carts or use them solo to quickly cover some ground. A shooter looking to compete with the likes of Battlefield and PUBG has been revealed. Called World War III, it's being developed by Farm 51 and is set in modern-day areas from around the world. It'll have plenty of infantry combat as well as what looks to be player-controlled tanks and some sort of aircraft, whether or not they are player-controlled, and possibly Call of Duty-style killstreaks like an exploding RC car. It will also have a tactical battle royale mode called Recon. In it, small squads will work together to capture high-value targets in hostile territory. I did a full video breaking down the reveal trailer, so be sure to check it out. The game is expected to release on Steam in early access sometime this year. We also got our first look at the upcoming Battle Royale game Fear the Wolves from the developers of the free-to-play shooter Servarium. Unfortunately, all that we've been shown are screenshots. Proper gameplay footage is expected to debut at E3. Insurgency SANDSTORM finally has a PC release window. The developers are targeting a September release with a pre-release beta in the works. SANDSTORM is the follow-up to the massively successful mod turned into a standalone hardcore shooter game, Insurgency. The console release of SANDSTORM has unfortunately been delayed to the first half of 2019. If you like shooting lots of zombies, the new trailer for the official World War Z game looks quite promising. It shows off some impressive enemy counts and hints at gameplay elements like base building and fortification systems. Bethesda announced a new game in the Fallout franchise. Called Fallout 76, rumor has it the game will be an online survival RPG like Rust or DayZ. Based on the trailer, it'll likely be set in West Virginia and take place several years prior to any other Fallout game. It could be similar to Elder Scrolls Online, the Skyrim-like MMO Bethesda released a few years ago. That said, a full reveal is planned for Bethesda's E3 show on the 10th. The next Assassin's Creed game will take place in ancient Greece. An announcement trailer was posted on the franchise's official Twitter account just a few hours after a leaked image of a promotional keychain from the game hit the internet. There's been speculation that Origins would be the first in a trilogy of new Assassin's Creed games. Star Citizen is making headlines again for an insanely expensive ship bundle. This time, it's essentially a complete pack of the game's ships with tons of skins, items, and in-game credits, priced at $27,000. Critics and fans alike have understandably been taken aback by the price. Developers justified the price by saying an actual community-driven demand for something like this does exist, with guilds, clans, and other dedicated fans seeking a way to outfit everyone in their group with ships and items. Some such groups reportedly have over 10,000 members. To be clear, Star Citizen is an entirely crowd-funded game that has generated roughly $185 million since its Kickstarter campaign launched in 2012. These super expensive packs aren't something the devs expect most players to buy. They exist to give people who are deeply invested in the game's development a way to contribute a lot of money to its ongoing crowdfunding. Now, of course, people have the right to be concerned about a game that is offering a $27,000 item pack and has pretty much missed most of its major deadlines that the developers have set for it. But at the same time, everything in these packs will be unlockable by playing the game, and meaningful progress has clearly been made towards the game's full release. This is just one of those crazy situations where they're giving fans who have an insane amount of disposable income or a large group of people willing to pool their resources together something to spend a huge amount of money on. In other big money gaming news, Chinese company NetEase has invested $100 million in Bungie. Bungie's goal is to eventually develop and self-publish original games, and this investment seems like a big step towards that. NetEase is currently partnered with Blizzard to bring games like World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, and Overwatch to mainland China. Bungie's current publisher is Activision, which merged with Blizzard in 2008. Bungie will continue developing the Destiny franchise for Activision, but will also begin production on other games independently, or at least in partnership with NetEase. Now, when it comes to some blast from the past news, Atari are making a new retro-style console called the Atari VCS, and pre-orders for it have already generated more than $2 million. People that pre-order the collector's edition for $299 will get an exclusive version of the console that has retro-looking wood paneling. The console will run Linux and comes preloaded with over 100 classic titles. It'll also support modern titles built specifically for the console by third-party developers, as well as play online media like Twitch streams. The VCS is expected to start shipping in July of 2019. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's episode of This Week in Gaming. Be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode, as we will be right in the middle of some big game announcements and new game footage and all that kind of exciting stuff leading up to E3. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.